Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the special Audit, Risk and Governance Committee meeting held in the Council Chambers on Monday, the 4th of December. I'd like to call this meeting open at 5:35. If I can welcome the committee members and staff, and I'd like to acknowledge that the meeting is being held on the traditional land of the Noongar people and pay my respects to the traditional owners, elders, past, present and emerging. I'd like to advise that the meeting is being audio recorded in accordance with council policy. No other visual or audio recordings of this meeting of any other means is allowed. The first item on tonight's agenda is attendances and apologies, of which we have received apologies from Councillor Bias, Ms Newby, and the Director of Corporate Services, Mr Fraser Sullivan. I'd also like to acknowledge we have a couple of observers. We have Maria from AMD, who's joining us via electronic means, and Regan from the Office of the Auditor General, who is joining us in the chamber. We'll move on to agenda item number 2, which is public questions, of which I've received no public questions.
None received, Mr Presiding Member.
That being the case, move on to deputations, which I'd like to call on Regan from the Office of the Auditor General to come forward and talk to the audit and financial statements.
All right, thanks, Chair. My name is Regan. I'm from the Office of the Auditor General. This is my second year on the audit. I took over from Aaron Manek, if you remember him, from 3 years ago. So we have completed the audit, and it's a good effort from everyone to complete the audit like within the legislative time frame this time. We had the exit meeting with the Shire President and management on the 21st of November. The agenda of what was discussed is attached in today's committee pack. If there are any questions on it, I can, myself or Maria can take any questions. Right, thanks.
Thank you. And I'd also like to ask Maria from AMD if she would like to make any comments to the audit and financial statements.
Mr Presiding Member, I might just ask Regan to comment on the number of local governments that have been signed off to date, because I understand that we've been signed off relatively early this year, which is a recognition of the great work that the Auditor General and AMD and officers have done to get to this point. So can I ask you just to comment on that, please?
On the 21st of November, what I told the Shire is I think we have 13 to date. I mean, if you want the live number and if my internet works with the Telstra connection here, I could provide you with the live update, but it's still loading. But yeah, it's a good effort from everyone, because November is generally very early for any local government to be signed off.
Thanking you. With that, we can move on to agenda item number 4, which is declaration of committee member and officer interest, of which there are nil. Agenda item 5, there are no minutes or reports to be considered. Moving on to agenda item 6 and 6.1, the annual financial statement and Audit Reports 2022-2023.
Mr. Presiding Member, Ms Newby, who is a member of the committee and is an apology for tonight, did ask some questions today of officers about the item on tonight's agenda, and we were able to provide a response back to the councillors and all members of the Audit Committee this afternoon. But Ms Newby did identify that one of the notes on page 36 of the attachment, which deals with the allowances or the benefits paid to employees in regards to superannuation, was incorrect. And so we have discussed that with Regan and Maria, and are proposing an alternative officer recommendation, which would be that which we issued this afternoon, which would be to recommend council adopts the annual financial reports as amended with a change to note 22B on page 36. I understand the error is about $14,440, so not considered to be material, but we're keen to make sure that they're absolutely accurate as well. And I might just get Regan to confirm this, that if this was the case, we could have revised statements issued in a day or two and have them ready for council to consider with the correct figure by Monday night. So I might just ask Regan and Maria to make any comment on that note if they wish, and how long it might take to issue some revised attachments, and then we can go from there.
All right, my Telstra connection loaded. Live number we have is 44 opinions issued for all local governments. We have 103 more to go. And with your questions, yes, OAG will be able to reissue our audit opinion with any amendments. However, I mean, I've told the CEO previously before this meeting, is the Shire's call whether they want to make the amendment or not, because it's not a material misstatement to the financial statements. Ultimately, it's just a small number that is incorrect. So if the Shire do decide and the committee to adopt the recommendation, which is to sign the financial statements over to the auditors, we will be able to reissue the audit opinion.
And Maria, did you want to have any comment on that or anything to add to that? Okay, thank you both.
Sorry, Mr. Presiding Member, can I ask a couple of questions, please?
Yes, President Coles.
I have a question, and I picked up over the weekend, so I don't know if I should have sent an email, but it's probably a very naive question. But on page 3 of the financial report, I have a query in regards to interest revenue with the 2023 budget, which is 543.5, to the 2023 actual, which is 1.478-ish. Is that because of the road reserves funds that were in there, the extra interest?
I might ask the Manager of Finance to answer that question if I can, Presiding Member.
So that is in relation to our term deposits that we have here at the Shire. So at the time in which the budget was adopted, we had a period of substantially low interest rates. However, over the last 12 months, interest rates have significantly increased, and that includes for our investment. So in this case, we actually landed in a position significantly higher than we could have possibly anticipated.
Thank you. And if I can ask another question, it's a very minor point, but page 35 under subsection 22A, we have C McConkey instead of K McConkey. So that could just be amended. It's a very minor point, but I did see that.
My apologies, we'll get that amended. Thank you.
Thank you, Presiding Member.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the floor? There being no further questions, can I ask for a mover for a motion? President Coles? President Coles, can I ask the motion you would actually like to move?
Thank you. It's the alternate officers recommendation 6.1, with the amendment of the change to note 22B on page 36 as circulated.
Thanking you. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Corelli? Is anybody opposed? Motion is carried unanimously.
Sorry, Mr. Presiding Member, do I need to give a reason, or is it officer's recommendation, so I don't need to?
No, not for alternative officer
Excellent, very
recommendations.
good. Thank you.
That being done, we can move on to agenda item 7, which is motions which notice has been given, which there is nil. Agenda item 8 of urgent business, of which there is nil. And moving on to agenda item 9, which being the no further business, we can declare the meeting closed at 5:46. Thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you, and can we particularly thank